Did you ever think growing a YouTube channel was going to be easy? 2 years, 107 videos, hundreds of thousands of views. If you're trying to juggle your job, your family, you have limited time, but you're still pushing to grow, this video is for you. These are 15 brutal truths that I've learned after creating 107 videos. Truths that no one tells you when you're starting out. So let's get into it. The first brutal truth, especially for new creators, is that your mind is working against you. It makes you feel like you're not posting enough videos, or you don't have good content, you're not a good presenter. You also want a balance of what you expect from your videos. If you're going to expect an overnight success, well, that's going to lead to some heartbreaks. If you expect that it's going to be a long process, then you're just going to focus on the actions and focus on creating better videos every time, you're going to be in for a much better ride, and this YouTube journey is going to be something that you really enjoy and something you learn a lot from. Of all the truths that I'm going to list today, your mindset is honestly the most important factor out of everything. The way you think about your channel, what you want from your channel, all of these things are going to dictate your success in the long term, so it's really important to get your mind in line with your goals. There's a really big push nowadays with people having such little patience that they want things right now, and anything that's difficult they're going to just throw away and move to the next thing. If you really want to see success on this platform, you got to start thinking in years, not months, not weeks. It's the difference between someone posting one video and hoping that they get thousands of views versus someone who posts 10 videos and hopes to get a few hundred views. The mindset that you have underlying these videos is really going to dictate your long-term success, because it's going to tell you how long you're actually going to stick around for. The more videos I create, the more I realize that this is a real skill and a craft that you have to hone over years and years, and you don't just get these skills overnight. There's just those lucky few who get better and better in a short time, but for the majority of us, we have to go through this process, keep learning, and get better and better as we go. So your mindset here really needs to be your friend. It needs to be one that's patient and willing to put in the work so that you can succeed long term. Whenever I've posted a video and I've expected thousands and thousands of views and didn't get that, that's when it causes stress, and that's when your mind can really separate you from your goals. It can lead you to feeling a loss of motivation, you feel disappointed or you feel depressed, and then it stops you wanting to continue working to move toward your goals. When in reality, it's the continued action that gets you the goals, not necessarily the one video or the one push that you do. If you like this video so far, make sure you join my email where I share weekly insights in 3 minutes or less. Check it out in the description, let's keep going. The second brutal truth is a lot of people just walk in the dark, they have no idea where they're going, what they're doing with their content, and they just blindly create. While I'm all for experimentation, learning, and trying things out, which I do promote in this channel, I also really do believe that the clearer you are with the direction that you're going, the faster you're going to get there and the more in line you can be with your audience. That's why it's so beneficial to spend some time on this, do some thorough research to really understand your market, understand who it is that you're trying to target and how to best serve them. If you look at my channel, you can see everything from dropshipping to side hustles to business. I've gone all over the shop, and I can tell you from experience, the more clarity you have here, the faster you're going to get to your goals. So take the time to do some research. I've talked about Ikigai, and Ikigai is finding the balance between your passion and what the world needs, finding that harmony for something that you can do long term that you're going to be interested in, while also providing value to your community. Now obviously, if you're still unsure, that's when you default to testing. Now for the most part, you guys are going to know your passion and you'll soon be able to find out how you can help in the market. But if this is the point that you're really struggling with, then this is where you default to taking action and you try some stuff out. The third brutal truth is you're not feeding your mind and feeding yourself with good ideas and good content so that you can then in turn create good content yourself. Are we not all just a sum of our experiences and education up to this point in our life? That's why, especially in this business space, it's really important that you continue to feed your mind and gain knowledge about your field, because without doing that, how are you actually improving and learning new things to teach your audience? The really simple saying is garbage in, garbage out. It's like polishing the turd. You can spend more time learning, researching, and trying new things, and that way you actually have something valuable to share with your audience. That's why when I create videos, I'm doing research, plus I combine my own experience, and then you have a product which is an even better video that I can share with you guys. So make sure you're feeding your mind. I did a whole engineering degree, and I can tell you that if you never learned anything, you would never actually graduate. It was the same for school and it's the same for life. Why should it be any different here on YouTube? The fourth brutal truth is that people don't actually understand how this YouTube system works and how you actually make money. I'm guilty of this too, don't worry. The thing about it is, when you create content, do you actually understand how it goes from traffic to converting traffic to actually purchasing your product? What are all the steps in between, and what softwares do you use? How do you actually hook people's attention maintain it, and then send it to a product or a service. The more you understand about this process, the easier it's going to be to go from viewer to customer or consumer. Now that we've covered the base of brutal truths, all the way up to creating videos, let's talk about the actual video creation process. Brutal truth number 5 is that people don't respect hooks. When I first started, I was exactly the same. I didn't know how powerful hooks were, and that the hooks were the reason that people actually stay to watch a video. When I was first starting out, I'd draft a script, I'd get ChatGPT to review, and then I'd just read it without really thinking much about the hook. Lo and behold, those videos went really poorly because no one was actually interested in the video itself. The hooks, like I said, are the reason that people continue to watch your videos. If you aren't good at hooks, then you'll never actually have people watch your content. You never have people watch your content, well, you'll never actually have a successful YouTube channel. It's that simple. What really helped me with my hooks is to watch videos and write out exactly what they said in the first 30 to 45 seconds of a video, and then I'd read it to myself and I'd pay attention to the way it made me feel, which is a nice transition into my next brutal truth, and that is that your title and thumbnail suck. What you're not seeing is that top creators understand the psychology that goes into these thumbnails, so it's not just about the image itself, it's about what it represents and how it makes you feel. They're really good at visualizing feelings and topics and capturing your attention, making you want to click. But the way you get good is to try to replicate what they've done and understand the psychology behind it, not just the image itself. And again, when it comes to titles, think about how it makes you feel. How does it look? How easy is it to read? Can you make it simpler? All these questions are things you need to go through. The more you look at top creators, the more you're feeding that muscle memory and you're learning by exposure of how to actually create good content. Your hooks, your thumbnails, and your title all together form your packaging, and YouTube is all about packaging. It's learning how to create content so that it's like a little gift that you can give to your audience, and they're really curious and want to see what's inside, they want to feel it, they want to smell it, and when you become a professional packager, you're going to see success on your YouTube channel. Now on the same thread, brutal truth number 7 is that storylines sell. When you think about some of the greatest movies of all time, and I'm not talking about just the recent ones, there's something that they all have in common. One of the best examples that I can think of is Dune. If you haven't seen it, you've honestly missed out on something great and you need to watch it as soon as possible. It had great visuals, great audio, it had great character development, but the one thing it did better than everything else is storytelling. We saw the hero start from ground level, he built up his skills, he challenged authority, he changed the way that people thought and broke traditions. In the end, he fights his rival, he wins, and it's such a great payoff to see the story come to completion. Even in these videos, I try to use storytelling to help me get these points across to you. Brutal truth number 8 is that you're not consistent. There's 2 consistencies I'm talking about here. Firstly, you're not consistent in your niche, and secondly, you're not consistent in creating content. Consistency in your niche means posting similar content, stuff that your audience relates to, stuff that they're interested in, and making sure that you're always thinking about that final customer who's going to listen to your content. Dan Ko is interesting because he talks about posting all different sorts of niches and not worrying too much about your audience, because the people who identify with you are always going to watch your content. But the more I learn in this space and I listen to top creators, the more I can see it's really important to stick within your niche, to pick certain topics. If you talk about business, then you stick within that business niche. It's okay to talk about different topics within business, but you do generally want to talk about business. Consistency in your niche means thinking about your audience and the type of content that they'd be interested in and trying to give them more of that. I personally believe that there's 2 different types of channels, one where I watch because of the person and one where I watch because I want to learn. When I want to learn, I want to see that that person focuses on the one niche and they're an expert in it. When I watch a person, I'm not as fussed about their content, but when I think about what I watch more consistently, it's definitely the people who are more focused within a niche. You can apply that same logic and pick where you want to sit. Most important though, especially when you're starting out, is to post consistently. You're not going to build the skills of crafting YouTube videos without actually spending the time, so it's just something that you have to pay down, your ignorance debt. So that means you're building the muscle of research and packaging and posting and following a system that you build to make sure that you're constantly learning and improving every single video. And that ties in with brutal truth number 9, which is you have poor planning. This is where the advice of top creators starts to separate from people who are working a job and have families and have multiple things that they're trying to juggle with limited time. Scheduling and planning with those types of limitations means that it's not just you who has to plan, it's the whole family and it's work. It's about working with your family to pick out times in the week where you're going to block out time specifically for your business and for YouTube so that everyone's on the same page, especially your partner, and you can work together to try to build this up. There's definitely a lot more involved when you got family and work, and I feel for you, but this is where you really need to rein in and have control over your timetable so you can actually carve out time for YouTube. The way I do it is I set out specific days for drafting, recording, editing. You can really do it however you like. You just got to find what works for you and your family. Brutal truth number 10 is that improvements come incrementally. So long as you're making sure with every video you don't make the same mistakes and you're learning something new, then you're always going to be improving your content and you're always going to be growing as a creator. It's about changing your mindset so that failure is your friend, and that beautiful saying, no pain, no gain. The truth is, learning and growing is painful. It's not that feeling when you feel amazing and you've just achieved something great. It's that feeling when you're down low, you're feeling shit, you don't know if you want to continue, you don't know if it's working out. Those are the ones that really help you to move forward and to grow. For the most part, YouTube feels a lot like a rabbit hole. You never know if you're going to see the light or get to the end of the tunnel, but that's exactly where the learning happens. When you push through, you continue to take action regardless. Moving on to the next brutal truth, this is something that hits me personally, is that your performance will never be perfect. When I hit puberty, my voice was really monotone. People thought I was on drugs because I had very little expression behind it. I've had to work so hard to get more expression coming through my voice, and I feel like now I'm just at an average level where people start at. If you can accept that your performance always can improve and you can always get better, then you're the type of person who's going to succeed on YouTube. This is the way that you come across to people, so it's something that you always want to get better at and you always want to continue to invest in because it's going to benefit you long term. Brutal truth number 12 is KISS, and I'm not talking about the band, I'm not talking about kissing people, I'm talking about keep it simple, stupid. This is something I'd hear again and again when I used to do door-to-door sales, but your language matters. People actually think you're smarter when you can say complex things in simple ways. In fact, people like Einstein talked about how easy it is to speak of complex terms in complex ways, but a true genius can speak of complex terms in simple ways. Keeping things simple for your audience actually makes you look smarter and more understandable when you share your content. You can use things like ChatGPT or Hemingway to check your scripts and make sure that you're always speaking in the simplest terms. Believe me, coming from engineering, I had to undo a lot of stuff that I'd learned through university, and this is only going to help you long term. Brutal truth number 13 is you got to pick one platform. When I first started, I was trying TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and that led to a whole lot of heartache because I was just burning myself out. I barely got any results and I was just spinning my wheels. It was only until I eliminated distractions, focused on one platform, that I was actually able to start excelling in that one place. There's a myth about diversification, trying many things and you'll eventually stumble on the right thing. It really comes from elimination, picking that one thing and just driving focus. I listened to an interview recently with Diary of a CEO and Mr. Beast, and he talked about how his sole focus was YouTube from a very early age. And that is the one reason why he's so successful today, is because of the traits that he had back then that really brought in his focus onto YouTube. And you can do the same if you just pick one platform. The 14th brutal truth, and this one hurts me a little bit, it's your ego. Your ego, believe it or not, is actually your enemy. When you watch videos and you think things like, oh, my video is way better than that, how come they get all the views and I don't? Or when you look at thumbnails and titles, you're thinking, my thumbnails are way better than that, how come I don't get those views? That's your ego speaking, and that's what's going to sabotage you. The fact that that person has views and you don't is YouTube telling you that your content isn't as good. If it was, YouTube would be pushing your stuff out just the same. Rest assured, the algorithms know what they're looking for, and unfortunately, right now, you're just not it. Trust me, that message is for me just as much as you. Come into this YouTube game and forget your ego, accept humility, and accept that you are where you are and you're working towards your goals. I've met some brilliant people over my career. Some of the most educated and well-renowned people are actually some of the most humble. It's like the more they learn, the more they realize they don't know. They've made humility a part of their character so they continue to learn and get better at their craft. The same applies here. If you have that mindset, you're going to be able to identify what the differences are between you and the creators that you admire and how you can actually get there. Ego is like a curtain that's going to blind you to those things and make it a lot harder for you to grow. Brutal truth number 15 is that this path is lonely. Your friends, your family, they're not going to understand what it's like to create a video because they've never done it before. They're not going to understand what it's like to spend 6 hours creating a video, posting it to YouTube, and only getting a handful of views. So don't expect them to. You're better off to find people online in the same space and build up your own community of people who know exactly what you're doing and want to push in the same direction with you. That's what I've been working on, and you can meet some great people doing it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you join my email list. If you want some one-to-one coaching on that same page, you can book a coaching session with me. I only have a few spots each week because I'm a busy man. And check out this next video. It's going to help you in your YouTube journey. Cheers.